Hello, and welcome back to some Domberger Tarot today again with your host Carmilla. So I'm so excited for our reading today. So what I always say I'm so excited, but I am. So what we are looking at today are blessings in disguise, which is really interesting. I've been holding on to this reading for quite some time, but it seemed like just recently it seemed like, okay, it's gaining momentum and now it needs a chance to be out, which makes sense. We're working with the Five of Cups energy, which is a total Scorpio energy, which this reading is timeless, but it's going to hold the frequency of the full moon, the full pink super moon in 2021 that occurred just yesterday, April 27th, April 26th, which is lingering over in today, which is April 27th. So even though it's a timeless reading, it is containing that energy. Interestingly enough, I did put these crystals outside to soak up some of that full moon energy too. So I'm really excited about this reading. I was really interested in seeing how there were actually crystals today that wanted to be present, and I feel like there was crystals present with these particular readings today because they really want to help us ground and move this energy. They really want us to help stabilize with this energy, mainly because this energy today does feel quite confronting. It feels like we're going to be looking at a piece of ourselves that may be a little icky. So we'll see when we get the general readings, because the collective reading is totally not that. But the general readings seem like they'll be a little more touchy. But we have 4 groups today per usual, but before we hop into that, I do want to get into our collective message. So today we actually do have a collective message of remembering that this is just the law of the land. We are designed as human beings to embody all energies, all emotions. So when I say energy, what I mean is emotion as well. So emotion is just energy in motion. So it's really healthy to remind yourself of that and remember that all energies, all emotions are sacred. They are worth living. We are full human beings, and it is safe for us to exist as full human beings. So as much as you will experience hardship, challenge, adversity in life, you will also experience that equal amount of abundance, of trueness, of beauty, and things like that, depending on what your soul, how your soul is working. You know, what your soul came to this life to do, to embody, to integrate, to release, whatever the seasoning your particular entity, your particular expression of spirit needs. So always remember that. So the collective message we got today is basically that. Enjoy this journey. You know, it is hard, and it's hard for every single human being, and it's also joyous for every single human being. No one just has it either or way. You know, this is about, really recognizing and going above duality. That's why we're talking about blessings in disguise. You know, something that may be disguised as traumatic or heavy, that actually is teaching you something, that is actually leading you somewhere. And even if it's not a physical blessing, like you're going to get some money or whatever, immediately at least, this is just a knowing of, this could be a blessing of changing your belief, changing a thought, changing an old habit, releasing some form of addiction or anything like that. But we'll get into the readings. So I do want to show the cards for our collective message today. So for our intuitive pile for the Dombringer energy, we have, I need to say with the 4 of Pentacles, I have something to share with the world. I am worthy. Exactly. Because you've come here as an entity, having a human experience, experiencing what it's like to live. So you have something to offer and give. We also have with the Whispers of the Oceans card, we have enjoy the journey. Stay present and flexible. Many changes are going on for you and around you. These changes are not only good, but necessary. Bring your awareness into the now rather than focusing on the past or the future. Exactly. So that's the exact frequency that we're holding when we talk about blessings in disguise. Everything happens for a reason. Everything has purpose. That's how you gain knowledge. That's how you gain knowing, experience, practice, wisdom. That's how you build wisdom. And we also have cosmic dancers today with give and receive. Of course, this is respecting the law of the universe. This is respecting the law of all things. There's a constant giving and receiving that happens within our plane of existence. And this does not always have to be lacking. This can be in a very abundant way. And what we're doing while we process and move through this form of consciousness is we're transforming our consciousness from lack consciousness into abundance consciousness. You see what I'm saying? So we're stepping more into actually joy, laughter, deep connection, all the things that we're constantly wanting. So it's just all about the process, the alchemy of moving through all these energies and what they're here for. It's crazy to say this, but you hear the sirens, and I actually appreciate sirens when I hear them, because they just remind me so much of Archangel Michael energy. Every time I hear them, it just makes me always feel like there's always support, there's always, like help is on the way, or there's always help available. So just one of those things I just want to say, because it's weird. It's a weird energy to hold. It could be weird to you, let me say it that way, but that's the energy that I hold when I hear sirens. And then, last but not least, for our collective message, we had the chameleon spirit with act as if. Of course, this is about changing your identity, as in changing your perspective and the way that you relate to things. That's what we're all doing collectively. So with the collective message, it's what the entire collective, to some degree, is feeling, is processing, is doing, even if they're doing so unconsciously. But what we're doing is really, really transforming the way that we think and the way that we relate to ourselves, which in form will relate the way that we think about blessings and miracles and each other and the things that are happening or occurring in our life. We'll see it more as people playing a role they were designed to play when they incarnated, and less as this constant heavy toiling or this heavy scary thing. So what we're doing is transforming ourselves so that we enjoy more of our journey, because our journey is not about reaching some crazy, not crazy, but some end goal or some purpose. Your purpose is actually to live life itself. Purpose does not mean being a doctor or, or doing whatever, or this achievement or this success or this route or that route. The purpose of living is to live. The purpose of living is to experience life. Literally, there's no other purpose for you outside of that. Everything else is up to your choosing. But the purpose of you is to actually experience life. And that's what we're doing with these experiences. And that's what we're doing all collectively with our collective healing. So we're going to talk about blessings in disguise today. Like I mentioned, I don't know why I said it again, but I really, really want to talk about how this isn't necessarily like blessings as in, a magical wand, but this is like understandings that we're integrating, because we're transforming into beings that, rather than live from the outside and allow the outside to influence our insides, what we're doing is allowing our insides to influence our outsides. So when it comes to these blessings, this is like guidance, this is like leadership, this is like moving energy, this is stepping into your abundance consciousness and living from there and allowing life to unfold from there. So what we're going to talk about in these readings is probably going to be, like I said earlier, be a little confronting because of the energy you've probably been working through, which has probably been a lot of toiling, a lot of releasing, a lot of being honest with self, a lot of just strong mental energy and emotional energy that has been really challenging. So yeah, so today we have our Five of Cups out here. So we have the Five of Cups from the Tower Takeover Tarot, which is a really cool deck. I really like this one a lot. So we have the Five of Cups there for group 1. And we have this beautiful quartz with it as well. And then we also have our Five of Cups for group 2 from the Venetian Tarot. Really, really cool. I really like that one. I like the imagery. And then we have the Five of Cups from the Hermetic Tarot deck. Also another favorite. I really like the imagery on this one too. And then lastly, we have our New Visions. I couldn't decide if I wanted New Visions or Rider-Waite, but New Visions won out, which is really interesting. So I'm excited to see what message it is providing for us today. So, and then with group 2, we do have the Dragon Scale, group 3, the Selenite Wand, and group 4, this really cool quartzy rock. So yeah, do whatever witchy, beautiful thing you need to do in order to get in the mood for your reading. And I, my friend, will see you there. Group 1, hello, hello for all our friends who chose the Tower Takeover deck plus this cool little quartz rock. This will be your reading, talking about your blessing in disguise today. So oracle cards to the side. Let's see, before we whip out some more tarot cards, tarot decks. Let's see what frequency the Five of Cups is holding for you about your blessing. So, I'm seeing the infinity symbol, and I'm hearing the word infinity. Interesting. Okay. Your energy or your blessing in disguise is about resolved karma. Karma resolving. You wouldn't have learned your lesson without it. You're integrating, you're growing, so you wouldn't have learned your lesson without it. So things that you like that you're running into in your life that you feel are necessary. Necessary and unnecessary, really. But the things mainly that you feel are unnecessary, or you feel like you just have some fear around them, or there are just some choices that you're making or you don't want to make that you just feel are unnecessary or you're holding back. It mainly is like unresolved karma. And what you're doing by making the choice to face it, confronting, work through it, is resolving that karma. What you're doing is setting the record straight. This feels like the energy of finally like standing up to someone who's like bullying you, or like something about like going against an enemy, like someone who you would consider an enemy, and actually like telling them that, like standing up for yourself, speaking out, because it's just like some unresolved karma is what I'm picking up on, like it's a funky energy. It's really funny, but it's almost like, just the infinity symbol is what I'm seeing. It's just like when I see the infinity symbol, what I'm seeing is like a certain frequency going, to the left side of the 8. And imagine it's on its side, like the infinity symbol. And when it goes to the middle, that's when it goes to clearing. So that's when it meets the other energy on the other side, and they intersect. So what you're doing is you're intersecting that energy for the clearing. You're intersecting that energy for the clearing. For some reason, I feel like you just feel really afraid because it's really confronting, or like it's really scary. So this would be like someone who, I don't know, I just feel like this would be someone who has like some form of a bully, or someone who has like a boss that they don't really get along with, and this is them finally leaving, or this is them saying, giving them the what for, saying, like this is what I'm feeling, and you're either going to get with it or get lost. This is that kind of energy, and it feels like it has some type of tie to a past lifetime or something like that, where it was a past life energy and you two had kind of like duked it out there, and it kind of feels like it has followed you here, and it just like, in order for you to, so I want you to know that this is inevitable. It's going to happen. It's happening in some way, shape, or form. Like it's like it's just an energy that needs to be resolved. But like in order for you to align fully with the frequency that you're supposed to be aligning to in this lifetime, you're going to have to go through this convergence, this intersecting energy, because there's something that you're going to gain during this experience. I feel like there's just a level of strength and confidence and sass, and really like a true inner knowing that you're going to gain by actually intersecting with this energy. Like there's something there that is energetically being provided to you. And I know this sounds scary and it's difficult, so if this is you and you're resonating, do it with ease, especially if it comes to, because usually a lot of times when it comes to these type of situations, it's someone you love, it's someone you care about. It's like a family member or a friend or something like that, where you're not really meshing very well, and you just have to have a conversation about something or something like that. But I feel this is more like something where you like already consider the person to be an enemy, and it literally could be just like you finally just cutting off their energy and be like, I won't, being like, I won't entertain this anymore. But there's something about intersecting there where it's going to build up something for your frequency. It's going to like reconnect you and them as well to to your proper frequency, so that you can continue to get to where you're going, because it just feels like something that's unresolved, and part of the reason why you incarnated in this life was to clear that out. So it's like avoiding is not going to get you anything. Is what they're saying. Like avoiding is not going to get you anything. What you really need to do, what's really important for you, is to actually resolve this karma, besides trying to kind of like wiggle out of it or ignore it, even if that means you just unfollow, you unblock, you kind of break that addiction you have to seeing that person as the villain, as the enemy, because that is an addiction. Guilt and stuff like that is an addiction. So let's get some more cards. We have the Seven of Wands, which makes total sense when we talk about enemies and paranoia and like fighting and stuff like that. So Seven of Wands makes total sense, because there's a part of you that you're defending. I love this deck so much. Just to see all the people just falling out of the tower. We have the Knight of Cups. Yeah, this is making a lot of sense to me. And then we have, let's see what else we got. Then we have the Nine of Cups, and I feel like I want to show bottom deck energy, which was the Queen of Swords. But I don't want to make sure. So we have the Queen of Swords for bottom deck. I love these cards so much. They're so cute. So I feel like you and this other person are both. If this is another person, if this is resonating, because this could always be like a way of thinking or something like that. But I'm feeling like it's more so of another person. But take it as it resonates, right? So what I'm feeling from this is that you and that other person are both aspects of the Queen of Swords, and it's part of your overall healing. There is no, like, what we have to do really is remove the idea that there is a victim and a perpetrator. There's like, oh, we're going to blame this person for being this way, and you really have to blame all aspects of the entire, you have to like really not blame, but understand the situation as a whole thing. And I think that's what Spirit is trying to get you to see and trying to get you to do. The Queen of Swords is a beautiful card to get. I'm not saying that the other cards aren't beautiful, but with the Queen of Swords, the energy that she holds is the energy of strength, and she holds the energy of boundaries, and she holds energy of making peace with another and with oneself. She has a reputation of being kind of curt and kind of being a bitch, but it's because she's very, very protective of her peace. And I feel like both you and that other person are very protective of your peace and of your identities, of who you are, of what you believe the world to be, of how you see the world, and different things like that. So really what is happening is that's the intersecting, that's the clashing, and I feel like with an actual conversation or something like that, you two can actually come to an agreement or come to some form of an understanding, where it's just like, that's how you want to live, that's how you want to live, we're going to part our ways. Now, I don't really feel like there's, like, reconciliation is not necessary. Trying to create some type of friendship or something like that is unnecessary. That's what I'm really truly feeling here, especially for some reason from the Knight of Cups. I just feel like the Knight of Cups has this energy of, I got my cup, I got what I'm needing, so I'm on my way. You do you, I'm gonna do me, and we bounce. That's what it feels like. But what I truly feel like you're both doing is healing this aspect of the Queen of Swords within each of your own selves, which is a really beautiful energy. Actually, it's really, really cool what I'm seeing. But it just feels like you're both really defensive. You're both kind of like marinating on it and not really doing anything about it, kind of not moving because you just don't really know what to do with it. And I do feel like some form of a confrontation, some form of a clash, some form of colliding is inevitable because of how I'm seeing this infinity symbol come up. It's kind of just like topsy-turvy, twisty-turny type thing, where it's just like it's going to get to a point to where it intersects and it has to be met. So I feel like that is what's happening, which is really, really interesting. And I also feel like the reason why the Nine of Cups is here, really truly the Nine of Cups is here, is just to confirm the fact that this is about inner healing. This is about fulfillment. This is about you, both of you, getting what you're needing, because I feel like both of you have a tendency to play the blame game and say, well, it's this person's fault or it's that person's fault, but you're not taking responsibility for what you're actually doing, the way that you are actually acting and showing up. What you're trying to do is force your way into a situation that does not need your force. What you're trying to do is play fake and be like, oh, well, maybe if I'm just nice, or maybe if I'm just this, without actually telling the real truth. I feel like the real truth is, if you just don't like each other, you just don't like each other, you just don't vibe, which is fine. I think that there's a lot more respect that needs to be given for two people who decide, you know what, we don't vibe, we're not aligned, and it's safe for us to be cordial and to be respectful of each other, but we're going to go our separate ways. I think that energy is really important, and that actually builds up a whole nother level of trusting self, knowing your own frequency, and it builds up a, self-love and confidence with you being able to say, this person does not work for me. I feel safe saying that this person doesn't work for me, besides thinking that, oh, I'm not spiritual enough, or I'm not good enough just because I can't actively give love to this person. It's to be understood that there are some people that you're just going to have to respect and love, or just from afar, or just simply not cater to, not think about. And both of you are so concerned with like being likable, and both of you are so concerned with like doing the right thing, that you're missing the point. The right thing is to trust what is true for you. Trying to hold on to frequencies that don't work are detrimental. That is what we call toxic. Again, I will always explain toxic as something that is sitting in one place and it's rotting, just like still water. Still water will literally just become toxic. It'll grow algae. It'll be in a place to where it's unswimmable. It'll be unhealthy. You see what I'm saying? If you leave a banana in one spot for too long, guess what? It's going to rot. Eventually, before that banana rots, you're going to have to do something with it. You're going to have to cut it up, put it in the freezer, something like that. Because this is not this frequency that you're holding with this other person, that you're sharing with this other person, because you've come to learn from each other, it's not wine. It's not wine in the way that it's moving. It can become wine if you just both realize the truth of this thing and not hold back on the fact that, hey, this is just my boundary. This is what I'm feeling. I'm not liking this, and who knows, maybe there could be some reconciliation in the future or something like that. But the blessing in disguise here is knowing that with you communicating your true feelings, you get a deeper sense of knowing and trust of yourself, which is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful alchemy. It really, really is. It's just really, it's an incredibly medicinal experience for both of you. And again, I'm not going to talk in like victim, and I don't care what they did to you or what you did to them. That is none of my business. Who cares? This is all about the alchemy. This is not about victim blaming or trying to villainize someone. This is about two or multiple human beings having an experience together where they're just experiencing karmic clearing, karmic resolution. You cannot come to a karmic resolution. You cannot come to karmic clearing if you don't actually confront or walk through what it is that you need to be clearing. So really, again, I just want to re-emphasize that it is important for you to walk through what this clearing is, because what it's doing for everyone involved is healing. It's healing, 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 and it's motivating. It's empowering, for you and everyone else involved to get to the deeper understanding of what they're feeling, and so that they can feel safer and you can feel safer, trusting yourself, trusting your own knowing, trusting your own intuition, and things like that, which is a very, very, very beautiful energy. So that's your blessing in disguise. The conversation may be uncomfortable, it may be challenging, but it's not impossible, and really it is a beautiful karmic resolution that it's intersecting. They keep saying it's intersecting. So what you need to understand is This is leading you to a greater sense of fulfillment of self, but also to understand that it's intersecting, meaning it's going to happen one way or the other. So prepare for that, especially since, this is the Tower Takeover deck, so it makes total sense. This Tower Takeover deck, just as a whole essence, is just telling me that this is something that is going to really help you reshape your identity in a very, very healthy, beautiful way, and where it needs to be going. And not only you, but for everyone involved. This is about helping people to reshape their identity, where they're identifying, leading each other out of inadequacy. So this is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that's happening here. But it can be hard to see when you're just clashing with someone, or you just can't vibe with someone's energy, and you're trying, and it's frustrating, and it's difficult. But you know what the truth of the situation is. So yeah, boom, I love that energy. So let's get into your oracle cards and see what they have to say. So I pulled 2 animal spirit cards just for further confirmation of what's going on, and for any healing energy for you. And this energy also translates to the other party, whoever else you're experiencing this with. So we have slow and steady, rinse the rakes. I love that with Turtle Spirit. So I feel like this is something that has been ongoing. I feel like Turtle Spirit is just saying this is something that has been building up, and it's been taking its time, and it's coming to its head. This is a karmic resolution. Like I'm saying, I feel like this is something that has been, a past life as well. So this is something that you've been going through for quite some time. So Turtle Spirit coming out just to remind you that this is something that is going to happen. You don't have to, like I'm saying, it's inevitable, so you don't have to rush it. You don't have to just like, oh, I want this clearing to be done now. I feel like because there's so much volatile energy, you both would benefit from waiting until the time is right, until it actually happens naturally. Besides trying to force something to happen, just wait until it happens naturally, because it's going to happen anyway. And then our other card we have is Know Your Worth. Of course, I should have called it because I knew it. I knew it when I held them in my hands that card was going to come out. And again, this is about both of you, so I don't want it to be what I'm saying what I don't, which, but what happens a lot of times is, in these situations, is we talk about people who deserve your energy and blah, 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 blah. This is about 2 people learning about their worth. Like I'm saying, you and whoever else is involved in this, hold a Queen of Swords frequency. So this is 2 people or multiple people in this situation knowing and understanding their worth. And you have to understand that however Spirit is showing up in your life, Spirit is showing up in their life too. Spirit does not play favorites. Okay, this is not about you being a victim to this situation. This is about you knowing your worth, them knowing their worth, and knowing that it's worth moving out of this frequency. It's worth moving on from whatever this is. So that's Skunk Spirit coming out to confirm that. Just know that you're worthy of not living in this type of frequency for the rest of your life, and neither are they. This situation is worth resolving and moving forward from. And again, I love how Turtle Spirit is coming out and reinforcing the fact that it's inevitable, and it's going to be happening. So it's not like you have to force it. It's not like you have to like go up to someone tomorrow and be like, so this is what I think. I honestly feel like it is something, because it's intersecting, it's something that is going to happen. And this is really going to teach both of you and all people involved about your own identity, your own worth, and it's going to be extremely healing. So with the I Need to Say card, we have the King of Swords. Of course you have the King of Swords. This is, I communicate openly and concisely. Sorry about the phone, but anyway, like I was saying, you have the King of Swords, of course. So we have, I communicate openly and concisely. I speak truthfully, clearly, and do not try to impress others with my speech or vocabulary. So that card is basically saying, whenever this conversation happens, this is not about trying to one-up anybody. This is not trying to be better than. This is just 2 people laying out what they're feeling, what the frequency is, or, whoever is involved. And just speaking openly, communicating is the most important element that you have here. Communicating is the key. And again, I feel like this is going to happen naturally. So I feel like with the King of Swords, that's just that reinforcement of, I'm not trying to impress nobody. I'm not trying to be anything outside of who I am. I just want to speak from my own truth and speak naturally as who I am. Speak what I'm feeling. This is about you speaking naturally. And this happening organically. It's happening currently, and it's unfolding organically, as you can see, I'm sure. So again, that's just a reminder that it's happening naturally. You don't have to go above and beyond to prove anything. And the key here is to openly communicate what you're truly feeling. This is really beautiful energy. So our Whispers of the Ocean, and I pulled these with a specific intention on seeing what should we be keeping our eyes open for as this situation unfolds. So let's see what you got. Connect to source, of course. And we have go within to discover what needs to be done. Create the shift required to attract what you want. Exactly. So I feel like if you are someone who is wanting to build confidence, wanting to build strength, well, guess what? This is what happens when you call in these intersecting or these karmic resolution type style energies. This is also remembering to connect to source in a way to remind source to guide you. I feel like for some reason on this card, this like sparkly energy back here of like the reflection of the fish off the sun. For some reason, it's like there's this energy here of remembering to remind source to not remind source, but connect with source and ask source for support during this intersecting this conversation, whatever it is. Remind yourself that as much as you are source energy, so is the other being, so are the other beings that you're interacting with, that you're talking to. This is not you praying to source and hoping you're right and you just get to be right in the end. This is about you hoping, well, not even hoping, but setting the intention with spirit that this unfolds in a way that is helpful to all, that actually is healing for everybody, connecting to source. And remember, it's like when you connect to source, you remember who you are, but you remember what everything is, which is just an aspect of source energy. So I love how it says go within to discover what needs to be done. And I feel like that is the extreme truth for you. This is you connecting to your deepest truth and what you're feeling and expressing that and doing the process of understanding what you actually are feeling. That's why I feel like it's important for you to not rush into this. Don't just go up to the person the next day after you watch this reading or something and be like, okay, here's the lowdown. Because guess what? They're going to give you the lowdown too. So it's really, really important to recognize that allow this to be a process. Go within, communicate with spirit, and see what it is you're truly feeling, and kind of sift stuff out and stuff through so that you can really connect to who you are and what is actually true for you. And remind yourself that everybody is an aspect of spirit, and that's just the energy that you're working with. You hold a really high frequency, really, you're really expanded. So I feel like this will be easy for you, but it can still be difficult. I don't want to invalidate your feelings, but you literally have connect to source there. So if you feel like you have any challenge, any adversity, is important for you to set that intention with spirit to help alleviate some of that for everyone involved. So beautiful. And our last card here, the card that we have with the Cosmic Dancers, will just represent a card. I mean, not a card, but a feeling or something that you can be doing physically to help move this energy through your body. Let's see what you got. You have be magnetized. I love that. Be magnetized. And I feel like what this card is saying, especially with this just like this really beautiful like golds and pinks, the colors, this is about honoring your own truth. It's the same as knowing your worth. It's literally the same. I was going to say the same thing, but This is like being excited about your life, being excited about your own knowing, being excited about the beautiful things about your own self and about other people and in the world around you that you're realizing. Be excited about your learning process, being excited about connecting to your own self, just really, really being attracted to the world inside of you. And how it's responding and creating the world outside of you. So it's also same energy here too with this create the shift required to attract what you want. It's the same energy of being magnetized. This is literally you connecting with self-love in a way that you're attracting to you all that you need for your soul growth and who you are as an entity. So it's a really, really beautiful energy, and I feel like the more in touch you get with this abundance consciousness, and the more in touch you get with self-love, the more of the process when it comes to challenges and adversity that spirit will feel safe to alleviate. Um, uh, Not even feel safe, but the more that you'll be, it's not spirit, it's you, because what you're doing is communicating with the aspect of you that is spirit. So it's like the more you can release the guilt, the shame, the adversity, the challenge of this situation, and be magnetized by it and actually be like, enjoy it or be excited about it, the more you will alleviate yourself. You'll grant yourself clemency. You won't attract such challenging situations, as in they won't process through your body as an extreme difficulty, if that makes sense. I'm trying to like get the words or translate what I'm saying, but it's kind of hard. But yeah, you won't tap into the frequency of extreme difficulty all the time. You'll actually tap into a higher sense of self-love, and that's what you'll be creating and what you'll be creating from and what you'll be holding, which is a very, very beautiful energy. So this is a beautiful thing that's happening. I feel like it's happening organically. It's about an intersecting. It's about you coming together with a higher knowing, with a higher frequency. So it's a really beautiful thing. Yeah, you don't it's not as much worry as you think. Um, and again, don't rush it. Slow and steady wins the race. Allow this to unfold organically. Again, I'm saying that mainly for myself because I'm one of those people who, when I get an insight, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go handle that now. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So just a reminder that it's gonna happen organically, and that's just what you're surmounting right now. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful blessing in disguise. That's a lot of self-love to carry, and you're spreading it all throughout the universe. When you embody that energy for one, you embody it for all, and that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, group one, wonderful, wonderful. So thank you so much for coming to this reading today. I really appreciate you. I really, really hope it resonated in some way. If it did not, that is okay. Take what did and the rest will fall away. You don't have to hold on to anything that is not yours, anything that's old, anything that's not serving you. If you're like already been through this, this is not for you, Take what resonated and the rest will fall away. So yeah, I really hope to see you next time. And I really, really hope you are enjoying all these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful energies that the universe is providing for us as of right now. So yeah, thank you so much. Bye. Hello, hello, group two, for all of our friends who chose the Selenite Dragon Scale plus the Venetian Tarot Five of Cups. This will be your reading today. So, Oracle cards aside, let's see what we got going with this Five of Cups for you. Um, let's see. You're releasing some type of like devil energy, some type of like deception or illusion, some type of like really old layer of illusion that you're releasing. And it has something to do with like your connection to other people. Almost like it's almost like understanding the paradox that other people in your life are like, we're all codependent on each other. Not codependent, but we're all dependent on each other to a certain extent. We're all interconnected. We're all interdependent. However, what you're doing is releasing the necessity for codependency. That is what is happening. And how you're doing this is releasing your codependency on others, which could feel very scary, because what you see happening is your frequency is, or even just like what you're doing and how you're transforming, feels very unaligned to certain people that are currently occupying your reality. So this is friends, family, relationships, situationships, whatever it is. Even like old celebrities that you used to like and things like that, like people that you would idolize. It's like it's all like changing and transforming for you. So it feels like a reckoning. It feels like a taking away from, like you're losing everything you once thought was your identity, or what you thought was you, or things that made you happy. They don't make you happy in the same way anymore. And this feels like kind of a necessary evil, which is kind of scary. I completely feel you on that, group too. I completely feel you on that. But this is a huge blessing in disguise, because what you're doing is you are like your frequency. What you're doing is you're taking your frequency and you're expanding it. You're opening up to hold more of what you actually want. I see you keeping yourself in relationships that just don't vibe. I see you keeping yourself in friendships and in places, jobs, etc., that just don't align with you. And what you're doing is connecting to a higher truth. You're connecting to a more expansive understanding of your own self, and your connection to spirit, and your connection to your guides, and your connection to your role in this life, and your proper positioning, your proper placement, like what you've come to this life to actually be doing, and you're finding what that is for you. So like when you were this age or whatever, you thought, oh, I'm just this person who does that, everybody knows me for this, I'm cool or whatever. But then as you started growing, you were like, oh, maybe this isn't who I want to be, maybe this isn't what I want to do, maybe this isn't what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. Like, where do I see myself in 10 years? You're actually asking yourself these really existential, questions about, like, what is the purpose of my life? What am I doing here? Is this what I want to be doing forever or whatever? So really, your blessing in disguise is actually you're transforming, and the things and the people, the places, the quote unquote missed opportunities and things like that that are leaving your life are actually leaving your life for the purpose of making space for new things to enter that are more aligned with a new frequency that you have literally been growing and changing for. But what you're doing is you're clinging because you're afraid. You're clinging because you don't want to hurt people's feelings. You're clinging because you don't want to break anybody's heart. You're clinging because you don't want to feel entitled to something new. You're clinging because you don't want to feel better than anybody. You're clinging. You're doing a lot of clinging because you're afraid, which makes a lot of sense. But what you're doing is literally releasing like layers and layers and layers of deception, lies, and what you consider like missed opportunities, or like missed romances, missed jobs and stuff like that. But because what you're actually doing is understanding that they weren't necessarily missed, they actually just weren't designed for you, they were designed for someone else. In the current positions that you're holding, in the current relationships that you're in the current like friendships that you may have with certain people. I'm not saying this is for everybody, where this resonates. So I don't want you to like look at everybody in your life and be like, oh, you're not resonating with me. I feel like the people that is true for, 100% true for, you'll know. This is not looking at everybody in your life and making them a culprit or a suspect. Don't do that. This is about the people that dang well. It's one of those energies where dang well, this is just not the frequency that you're holding anymore. This is just not what you need to be doing. And it's to be understood that when you release these things, especially when you release them in love, because you have love for your own self, you understand that you're offering them that love frequency as well. Plus, it puts you both, everyone involved, in a position to continue going, getting to where they're going. So if you're say this is you, and this is about your romantic relationship or whatever. what is being provided is that there is a greater love, there's a greater connection, there's something else out there for you, or something more for your soul's understanding. And in order for you to get there, you need to, you have to make that space to actually take that road. You see what I'm saying? Again, it doesn't have to be that. It could be that, there's a conversation that needs to be had, there's a habit that needs to be released, there's a thought pattern or something that needs to be released. It could be literally as simple as that. When it comes to connections, friendships, and stuff like that, it can be literally as simple as boundaries. You actually stand up for yourself and putting a boundary in place for family, for friends, for your romantic partner, things like that. Like, no, like saying, no, this is my space. This is about you, like, learning more about yourself and about your codependency, and where you, because this is the thing that I want to explain with this energy too. Because I'm picking up on a codependency, I notice that people who struggle with codependencies have a tendency to play the blame game really hard. So what they do is they do a lot of blaming. They blame everything outside of their own selves for their own inadequacy. And we're all dealing with codependency and inadequacy in our own ways. Every single human being has had or is having that experience currently. So this is the understanding that with releasing codependency, you step more into responsibility. You step more into your ability to respond. And you step more into your understanding of self and your trust of self. And it doesn't become this thing of, I'm the victim, they're the perpetrator, they're the bad, I'm the good. Because no, that's not how it is. That's not how it is at all. What is happening is just people learning their own proper placement and what needs to be in their life and what doesn't need to be in their life. And this is you releasing all things that no longer serve you, not knowing that some of the stuff that doesn't serve you, it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't love it. I want to say that again. There are things falling in your life that no longer serve you, but that does not mean you don't love it. That does not mean that, you won't miss it. And I think that is one of the hardest things for you. That's why it's kind of like a blessing in disguise, because what it's doing, it's moving you into where you actually know where you want to be going. You just have fear that what you want is unavailable to you, and you have fear that if you move from this space, then you'll never have anything to replace it. But literally the reason why these things are moving is because there is something else coming in to replace it. That is actually healthier for you. Wrong card. So let's get into some Venetian tarot and see what else is going on here. I have a feeling that the card is just going to reiterate what I'm saying, but let's see if there's anything else that they need to say that we can share with you today, and then we'll get into your oracle cards for even more confirmation. So we have the Empress. Of course we have the Empress, because this is you getting to know you. This is you stepping into your royalty, your power, your majesty, and knowing that everything that is available to you is yours. Of course. Of course. This is you trusting that higher frequency, moving out of this old energy that no longer serves you. This is moving up into a more expansive state. And it's like, it needs to be understood that you can't play this blame game. You can't blame other people around you. You can't blame anyone. It's not about blaming your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your boss or your coworker, blah, blah, blah. They're just on the same journey that you're on. Look at that. Another major death. Of course, because there's a lot of stuff, like I'm saying, you're undergoing a transformation. And there's a lot of stuff in this cycle that's just dying. Why? Because it's worthy of rebirth. It doesn't need your clinging anymore. It wants to be transformed. It's dying because it wants to be transformed, not because, because it's bad and it just needs to be out of your life. But no, there's other places where this energy needs to be. And it's just that simple. Look at that. You have two majors. This is huge, huge energy. There's just other places that the energy that you're clinging to and the positions in other people's lives and stuff like that you're clinging to that just are not meant for you. So you have the Three of Swords. Of course you have the Three of Swords. And there's another card that flipped out too that I want to see what's going on. Of course you have the Seven of Swords. Of course. We'll put those two right there. Of course that makes total sense to me. And then we have the Knight of Cups again. That's so interesting. So the Knight of Cups came out for group 1, and it's totally the same frequency. So the Knight of Cups to me is basically saying, and this is the overall frequency for this reading, outside of the Five of Cups, is that really this is about you owning your whole desires so that you and other people can get to where they're going. You know, this is kind of like breaking up that interference is what I'm feeling. And I feel like there's a lot of interference over here with the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords. It's so funny because what I'm seeing is like putting them together and then like their energy creating like this Ten of Swords experience where you undergo, like you come out of the cocoon, you like undergo like this metamorphosis, or like this full like dying of, I want to say the false self, or like the false ego. That's what it feels like the dying of the false ego is what's happening, because what you're doing, like I was saying, I was picking up on that earlier, you're like, there's so much deception and heartbreak and lies just kind of like going on and like swirling in this energy that it's just that you're surmounting, and that at some point in your life was necessary to keep you safe and to help with the alchemy, to process, because it's what you're learning. You know, this is how you're gaining the wisdom through these experiences. But now death has come, and death is saying it's timing, it's time. You know, death is like, okay, this experience has ran its course, and what you're doing is clinging because you're afraid, and you don't want to admit that you're just afraid, but you are afraid because you're afraid of what's on the other side of this. So I love how both of these cards have some form of like an opening, right? So like this open window and this open door that they're walking into. And I feel like that's the true thing. Like the fear of this is your gateway. And walking through whatever this experience is with the fear is just what is going to help really like they're saying, like get you through the alchemy. It's like the fuel for the alchemy. It's necessary that it's running its course through your system, because it's like the fear of this gives you, on the other side of you, it gives you the relief that you're wanting. I'm sorry that you hear all the music outside like playing and stuff like that, but what you're doing is you're stepping into empresshood. You're stepping into your knowing as the empress. What you're stepping into, again, for I'm sure this will come up through all the readings, you're stepping into abundance consciousness. And you actually are awakening to a true deep sense of what it means to embody the divine feminine specifically, and that it does not matter what your gender is. But this is like death is saying, I need to be in your life to run my course. And what you're doing is you're clinging. You are literally playing into so much, like there's so many levels of deception and lies that you're clinging to, all so that you feel safe in, or trying to like justify what you're doing. Because it feels very embarrassing. It feels very scary. It feels very almost, it feels unrealistic to you. You know, stepping into this feels unattainable to you. It feels scary. It feels like I can't have what I want. But I literally feel like the Knight of Cups is saying you literally can have what you want, and you can have your cake and eat it too. You know, you can have your cake and eat it too. Like, this is the energy that is just, it's giving off for this reading, because it's just where you are now is part of the process of your life, but it's not your destination. It's not where you'll remain. It's not fully, you know, you're not allowing yourself to be your full human being. You're still playing it safe. You're still trying to make excuses in certain places that don't need your excuses. They need your confrontation. They need your truth. They need your punch. They need your fire, your ferocity. That's what they need. They need you to be you. And with you holding back on those experiences, you're robbing not only other people of higher integration and learning, but you're also robbing yourself of those experiences. So it's like you can pretend like you want these experiences and stuff like that, but the experiences are already there available to you. It's just you walking through fear and saying, listen, I'm not putting up with these deceptions and lies anymore. I'm going to be my true self, because this energy to me is very, very frustrating, and it's very, very annoying and draining. It feels very sad, and it feels very like it feels like I don't have any confidence. This is the type of energy that I'm picking up. I'm not saying for me personally, but I'm just saying, like, the energy that I'm picking up, it just feels like I have such a deep lack of confidence, and it feels like something that the energy itself is creating, and the beautiful thing about this is, on the other side of this, you have the Empress, which is, she is extremely confident. She's extremely self-assured. She's extremely, where she needs to be. And I feel like the reason why you're going to this experience is so that you can know both sides. Not both sides, so you can know the fullness of this situation. So you can step out of the duality of this situation, and you can fully rest, where you need to be. You can fully trust where you need to be. You can fully trust where you're going. And I feel like it's the resistance to that knowing that is keeping you from saying yes to your true knowing. It's keeping you from saying yes to your true knowing. So really, the blessing in disguise here is the situations that are currently in your life and the things that are currently unfolding, the things that are leaving your life, the places in which you see that there is an obvious disconnect, where you're not happy, that feels draining, that doesn't feel like it's serving you. It feels scary because you thought that was who you was at a certain point in your life. But what you're doing is upgrading to a higher frequency of the energy that you're holding, and it's just time to make room for that. And that's what you're doing. You just have to go with it. Really, you just have to go with the flow of this, especially with the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups energy is holding a frequency of just going with the flow of whatever is happening in your life, like actually trusting your entire self, not just half of you, not just, cherry picking, yourself, or for some reason they said don't cherry pick this reading. It could totally be for me, but like, don't cherry pick this reading. Like, they're like, what's true for you. And I just feel like you are purposely trying to keep yourself trapped in a deep sense of denial because it feels safe. And it feels like, if I keep myself in denial, that means I don't have to do anything. But really, the things that are happening in your life are serving your highest good. And it's just really important for you to understand that. So let's get into the rest of your reading. Let's get into your oracle cards. So let's pull some animal spirit cards. Oh, you have 3. I didn't know that. To actually just do some confirming and helping to move this energy through. So we have Life is a Mystery. It sure is. It sure is. With Bobcat Spirit, if you try to figure it all out, it won't make sense. And then we have Time for a Beginner Mind. Exactly, it's time for you to start anew. That is what is happening. But in order for that energy to really move through, which is same energy, you see? Same energy. Same energy. I hope the lighting can actually get that. But you see how that orange on the top and the green on the bottom? Same energy. It's time for you to have a beginner mind. It's time for you to restart. And that's the thing that you hate the most, the fear of the restarting, or the hitting the rock bottom. And then our last card here with the animal spirits, we have Think on Your Feet. Of course, this is, like I was saying earlier, this is one of those situations where you're just going to have to go with the flow of things, and you're just going to have to respond. Like, this is about your ability to respond. This is about you just going with things and speaking your truth, and just going with what feels actually right for you, besides trying to sit around and overanalyzing, overthinking, just putting so much pressure on yourself, putting pressure on other people to do the right thing. It's just, this is one of those situations where you just kind of have to go with it, release, and not try to figure it out. That's why I feel like we have the cards that we have, you know. And I didn't even know you had 3 cards, which is cool. Which is a cool thing. We have time for a beginner mind, life is a mystery, and think on your feet. You know, you're not gonna figure out what spirit is doing if you try to figure out the way that spirit operates through all the horror and tragedy and all the crazy stuff that we go through as human beings. You'll just be trapped in a rabbit hole, and that's not what you're doing. What you're doing is just getting comfortable with rebirthing. You're getting comfortable with starting over, starting anew, so that you can actually operate from the frequency that was designed for you. So let's get into the rest of your cards. Your intuitive message from the Dawnbringer Tarot cards we have: I use my knowledge and intelligence to the best of my ability. I am healthy mentally. See, it's like mentally you know the truth, and that's the Knight of Swords, by the way. Like mentally you know the truth. You know the truth. What you're doing over here with the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords is denying. But literally, I feel like you are the Knight of Swords. Like you. I love how you hold such a Knight energy. With me, with the Knight energy, it's all about like moving through, cutting through. Actually, you know, putting the energy into motion. So that's a beautiful thing. So listen, you're healthy mentally, like, and I feel like with the I am healthy mentally line, that's you saying, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. I know what the truth is here. I cannot deny it. So the Whispers of the Ocean card, this card I actually pulled with the intention of representing anything that we can look out for that can really help us move through this energy in our everyday life. So let's see what that is for you. Seeing both sides. Of course it's seeing both sides. Take a step back and try looking at this from a different perspective. So that makes total sense. So I feel like this card is just reconfirming that you see everything as scary. You see everything as a loss. You see that you're losing. You see that everybody else is just wrong and you're right and you're fighting and you're toiling. This is about you taking a step back and actually look at all the beauty that can be introduced if in your life if you just allow death to just come in and do its work. This is about you taking a step back and looking at your truth with the true perspective and not trying to shroud in so much denial. So that's exactly what that energy is doing. I love that. I love that so much. So our last card with the Cosmic Dancer Oracle will represent the energy that you're calling in to help you move through it physically, or something that you can do really to help move this energy. Just as an energy, not something that you have to do, you know, not. This is like to alleviate the pressure, really. So let's see what card that is. Exactly. Flow with divine timing. That's exactly what is happening in your life. That's exactly what's happening in your life. You may be in denial about it. You may be afraid of it. You may be, what the hell is happening? But when it comes to death, it's always to be understood that it's about timing. It's about the fact that the situation in your life has run its course. So now it's time to you to actually get real about that, to understand what that truly is meaning. You know, to get comfortable with the fact that there are things, you know, dying in your life, old relationships that are moving out, old connections, old jobs, and things like that. Get comfortable with that knowing, because you're literally, this energy is preparing you for the frequency of the Empress. So it's really important that you trust yourself on this, trust your timing, and trust that you know exactly what you need to do. Now again, this is no rush. This is definitely a nudge, a push, because I feel like they kind of want you, like they want to bring your attention to something, probably the different perspective. And I feel like changing your perspective will actually speed things up in a way, really, just because I feel like you are the one holding you back. There's no other person in your life getting in your way but you. And I feel like if you have a perspective shift, if you change your perspective on things, I feel like things will start unfolding, because you're looking in that direction at the way that they're actually unfolding, and you'll see that everything has been in your favor, or like catering to the best unfoldment for all in the highest way all along. So that's what I want to say to you about your reading. That's your blessing in disguise, that the way has been prepared for you. Everything is unfolding, and that's the understanding of death has to come in and do its job to prepare you to help get you where you're going, so you don't go there just covered in things that that you don't even hold that frequency anymore. So beautiful energy, group 2. This is fun. So thank you so much for showing up to this reading today. I really appreciate it. I really hope it resonated with you. If it did not, that is okay. Take what did and the rest will fall away. You're not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. So again, I really hope that this energy is helping you in some way, and I'll see you next time, group 2. Bye bye. Group three, for all of our friends who chose the Selenite Wand plus the Hermetic Tarot, Five of Cups. This will be a reading today. So, oracle cards to the side. Let's grab your tarot deck and let's hop into this reading. So we're gonna channel the message directly from the Five of Cups, and then we'll use tarot to see if there's anything else that needs to be said. So let's see what we got. So your energy immediately is blessings are made through mistakes. So what's funny is they're playing a thong song in my brain. And the reason why they're playing a thong song is because yesterday I watched this Vice video over Cisco and the producer talking about how the song came to be. And it just happened to find out that the producer ended up taking, all these different, records to this meeting. I can't exactly remember how it happened, but somehow he didn't even know he put the song in there, but somehow the thong song track had made its way into that collective of music, and Cisco heard the song and was like, oh, I need that song. And Cisco literally got on a plane to actually go pick up that song and things like that. So it's really interesting. And it also reminds me of the fact that DMX, the only reason he made the Rough Riders anthem song is because he lost a car game. Tina Turner hated the sample for What's Love Got to Do with It, until she was finally convinced that she should make the song, and she did. And all three of those songs from those three artists were some of their biggest hits. So your blessing in disguise is understanding that mistakes are mistakes. Mistakes are not you. Mistakes are mistakes. And actually, beautiful healing and beautiful blessings come from mistakes. And the reason why Spirit is saying that is because a lot of times humans, all of us really, have this twisted relationship to our perfection and who we are. And we think everything needs to be perfect all the time. We're extreme perfectionists to a fault. Some of us, even, when it comes to food touching, stuff like that, we can be very perfectionist. And we also tend to edit ourselves, and we tend to overanalyze, over-edit, over-manipulate ourselves so that we can fit into certain boxes, or so that we can have a certain sound or a certain presence or something like that. And I feel like the beauty of what you're experiencing is getting comfortable with your mistakes, getting comfortable with the mistakes that you've made, because you've gleaned so much wisdom from them, and because for some reason I feel like there's some mistakes that you made in the past that opened the door to higher knowing. There's some mistakes that you made in the past that have blessings for you that are that are trickling in now. It's because you made this decision that you thought was a mistake, there's something beautiful coming from it. You see what I'm saying? It's just you thought that doing this song or drawing this thing was a mistake, but this song might be your most popular song, or this drawing might be your most popular drawing, or a weird little, I don't know, something that you're looking at as a mistake is actually your greatest achievement, is what I'm feeling. So what Spirit is saying is just get what you're doing is you're alchemizing mistakes. You're getting comfortable with mistakes, and you're not faulting yourself so harshly for making mistakes. It's a really, really beautiful energy, because when you do that, you also offer that to the entire collective. So remember that when you're grounding this energy and you're working through your own body, through your own vessel, you're also grounding that for the rest of us. But this is the understanding for you that for some reason I can't pinpoint exactly what it is, and that's probably because there's so many different frequencies of people making mistakes that have become something greater than themselves. This is that there's a mistake that you have made or about to make or are making that you see as a mistake and you see it as wrong, as bad or something like that, but it's actually your greatest achievement. And I don't know exactly what that is. But it's like you think that you're about to make a mistake, but really this mistake actually takes you exactly to where you need to be going. Like, it's extremely aligned with what you actually need to be doing. You just have to really, really trust Spirit on this. I feel like Spirit is like, just really trusting the plan on this. Just really trust the path that I have laid out for you, because what your mind is doing is you're thinking logically, you're thinking very human about this, you're thinking very linear. You're just very pipeline, like I have to do X, Y, and Z in order to achieve X, Y, and Z, and Spirit is like, no, that's not how we're doing that. I actually have a higher path for you. And what you're going to do is, like, you're actually going to make this mistake, or it's already happened, or it's happening. And the understanding is that that mistake is actually what leads you to the greater thing, which is really interesting. Really, really, really interesting. I really like that a lot. That's like reframing a lot for me personally. This might be my pile, really. Because I am one of those people where I hold on to mistakes. I'm just like, God, why did I do that? The waiter told me to, enjoy my dinner. Why did I say you too? And look, right after that, the card that flipped out, you got the Six of Cups with the Lord of Pleasure. So you have the Lord of Loss and Pleasure, right, with the Five of Cups. And then right after that, you have the Six of Cups with the Lord of Pleasure. So it makes so much sense. A mistake that you have made or are currently making or in the midst of making is actually leading you to the greatest pleasure of your life. I honestly feel this so incredibly strongly. Like, I literally want to, like the energy is so much, like, you think it's a loss in pleasure, but it's literally not. Like, you get a literal extra cup and everything is flowing the way it needs to be flowing. Like, everything is working out in the way it's supposed to be working out. This is not some, like, scary energy that you have to be so afraid of. This decision you're making is for the greatest good of all involved. It's not just for you. So it really feels like there is a little, like, shadowy stuff or some type of shadow involved, just because the reason why there is shadow involved or some form of uncertainty is because if you knew the mistake you were making, you wouldn't make it. You see what I'm saying? You would end up putting yourself in a position to delay where you're going. So you don't know what you're doing. So I don't want you to be, like, hyperventilating, like, how don't I make this mistake, or how do I make this mistake? Don't think about it. It's going to happen naturally and organically. And that's why I'm telling you, you don't know what it fully is. You don't actually have full knowing of what this mistake is, because if you did know, you try to edit it, you try to correct it, you would try to either make it happen. And it's so funny because the bottom deck, look at that, the moon, the ruler of flux and reflux. So exactly, that's why there's, like, this shadow energy here of what's going on, because if you knew what was happening, you would sabotage it. Your human would ruin it. So that's why Spirit is covering it up. I actually want to flip this card over. For some reason it's talking. Okay, of course. So you have Death in reverse. So the child of the great transformation. Of course, that's why I want to flip that card over. Death coming out again. And then we also have the Chariot in reverse as well. So again, this is you have two majors, and I feel like the reason why these two cards in particular are in reverse is because what is happening is for you, and you're gonna see it as a mistake. It almost might be something you feel as though you regret, or something that you already feel as though you regret. But really, the choice that you're making was the exact choice that needed. Oh, you have three majors. I don't know if I said that, but it's the exact choice that is going to get you to where you're going. That's why it's kind of hidden from you, and that's why you feel stuck. So the reason why the Chariot is here in reverse is because you feel stuck right now. And the reason why you feel stuck is because you're in this waiting period where Spirit really wants you to get you to do the thing. Spirit wants you to do the thing that you think is a mistake. It's so funny the way it's coming through my awareness. Oh my God, that just like really opened my eyes to something personal. Um, but what Spirit is trying to do is to get you to a point, almost corner you, so that you end up making what you think is the mistake, but it's actually not the mistake. Um, Again, I just can't shake this feeling that the mistake you think you're making is your greatest love. You know, it's your greatest connection. It's what is going to open the door for you to do what you're needing to be doing. So what's happening is you are actively, if you have not already, making that mistake. For some reason, I feel like it's something you're going to be doing. For some reason, there is energy here if you haven't done it quite yet. You're still holding on to it. That's why I feel like really the Chariot energy has this energy here where you feel stuck or like there's no movement or no motion in your life because there's a deceptive false part of you that is dying, and there is a old frequency that is going with it. But right now you're still kind of in this limbo of these energies over here. So it's just figuring out how to like get you out of this limbo, and getting you out of this limbo is like doing the risky thing. It's actually risk. It's actually risk. This is like opening my eyes up to something personal, and I'm still just like, this reading is probably for me, but I'm probably not gonna try it yet. I'm not sure, but if this is for you too, you probably feel the same way. Yeah, this is you doing the risky thing. This is you taking that risk, the leap of faith, really, and just trusting it. You want so much control over everything, and you just really with this situation, you just got to relax on that a little bit, because that's just not where you're going to get, because you're just not in the frequency yet. You're not in the proper positioning to really hold, like, really this is one where it's just like hold on to your horses, you know, like just kind of, you know, like just kind of ride this out. Um, just because it may feel a little topsy-turvy at first, but really what's happening is you being like you're being put in a proper position, like where you need to be. But right now you just feel a little stuck because you're afraid of making the wrong choice. It's just a mistake that you're making, and I feel like it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. And I feel like, again, that's why the moon is here. There's a shadow energy over it, because there's a veil. Actually, I'm seeing a veil over it, like a cloak over it. Because if you knew, okay, so I see like Spirit like leading you to the mistake. So it's what it's doing. So if you knew that what you were doing was a mistake, you wouldn't do it. But the thing is, the reason why it's a blessing in disguise is because when you do the thing, you're gonna feel this sense of fear of, I made a mistake, of this is wrong, I shouldn't have done this. You're gonna feel a little irresponsible, if you don't already when you think about it. Um, but really, you see over here with the Lord of Pleasure that it's really just preparing you for the actual pleasure that you've been calling into your life, or the actual like connections and the thing that you're actually needing, your actual desires. So, um, yeah, yeah. This is that ebb and flow, you know. You have the ruler of the flux over here with the moon. This is that ebb and flow, you know, and this is getting you out of this kind of like muddy, stuck position, really. Really kind of like wiggling you out. Oh, that hand gesture looked terrible, but this is like wiggling you out of it. Um, it's just really the advice that I would have is don't be afraid to make mistakes, you know, like this is one of those energies where it's just the safer option for you is to just take the risk, really. Just take the risk, and that's your blessing in disguise. And even if it might not pan out immediately, it will pan out with due timing. Um, and I think that that's the most beautiful thing. Like, even if it's not an immediate relief, like, I did this and now, like, immediately, like, I have everything I need. This is more of, I did this and now I'm free because I did something that, you know, that maybe may feel like a mistake, but is actually a lot. It has like a deeper sense of freedom to it. Like it's very freeing. So let's get into your oracle cards and see what they are saying. So with your animal spirits, I just pulled these cards for just some extra cushion and confirmation. So we have see the bigger picture, which makes total sense. When we have a message here of not being afraid to make mistakes, because you have to look at this from all sides. It's not just what you want or what's in your favor. It's about the all. It's about your soul growth. It's about what spirit is needing for you to experience, to fully embody the full frequency that you're holding and things like that. So beautiful that we have giraffe spirit out here to reinforce that. And then we also have dream the world into being. That's funny. Yeah, and that makes total absolute sense, because that's what you're doing. That's what you've already done. So what I see happening is everything that you want is already aligned for you. It's already there. It's already ready. What you have to do is get out of your own way. And what you're going to do, how you're going to do that, is actually make a mistake, because you are dreaming the world into being. You are creating. You are manifesting. These are things that you're doing. But really, what needs to happen is kind of like this, a snapping. Or like this, like your old self needs to die freely, without your clinging and without your codependency on all those old aspects of yourself. So that is exactly what we have happening here. If you're dreaming the world into being, and it's something you're actively doing, but there's still like you're still in your own way, and that's why this is happening. This is beautiful energy. So our Dawnbringer intuitive message, we have the Queen of Swords. This is our second time coming out. I think highly of myself, and rightfully so. I check in with my thoughts regularly to ensure they are helpful to me, which makes total sense. So I just pulled these cards with more, confirmation to help us work through this energy. Makes total sense. This is you just checking in with self and making sure that when you are having conversations with yourself, you're actually encouraging and you're supportive. Talk to yourself the way that you would want any other being to talk to you. Don't be disrespectful. Let's just put it out there. Don't be a bully. The way that you want your mother, your father, your friends, your family and people that respect you to talk to yourself that same way. Even if that still leads to you making a mistake, who cares? Because it's for the best anyway. But still, this is about you, talking to yourself and relating to yourself. Talk to yourself the way you want to talk to other people. And talk to yourself the way that you want people to talk to you. Have those conversations. It's okay to like love yourself and think highly of yourself, and rightfully so. So, but even with that, allow whatever this humbling experience is to be humbling, because I feel like you'll learn a lot. And then we also have, which is for me, which is for me too. Don't think I'm just out here trying to knock people off their high horse, which is literally happening. But this is a high horse, as in it's a high horse that was made out of inadequacy. So that's why it's dying, because you're not holding the frequency of inadequacy anymore. So it may be a little painful. You may take a ego hit or something like that. However, whatever this mistake you're making is just for the highest good of all, which is a really cool energy. And then we have the Whispers of the Oceans card, which I pulled with the intention of getting to know what should we look out for as we integrate this energy. So we have you have ample with content. Waiting rather than acting is going to be most advantageous now. And the reason why I'm laughing is because with a message of it having a shadow veil over it, you can't see what's coming. This is for you to just say, you know what? It's happening. I'm not going to know what it is, so don't try to figure it out. Don't run back and forth to readings. Don't run back and forth to your tarot card trying to figure it out. This is one of those things where you're just not going to figure it out, and you're really just going to have to own yourself and hold your power, hold your strength, and just be content with what you know now. Because again, what we're saying is this is something that's going to lead you to the greatest love and the greatest energy that you're holding in your lifetime. So this is just being content with what you know right now, and just not forcing, not trying to figure it out, just waiting, because it's very inevitable. It's all happening. And then we have the cosmic dancers. So this card I pulled with the representation of how do we like help move this energy through our body as of right now. What can we do for ourselves practically to help with some self-soothing? So we have communicate with spirit. Of course you have communicate with spirit. Of course spirit would want to talk to you. Sorry about that, group 3, but anyway, again, like, of course you would get communicate with spirit. Of course you would get communicate with spirit. It makes total sense why you would really go to spirit and be like, okay, what is going on? Like, what can you tell me? What can you help prepare me for this situation? Just anything. I feel like if you communicate with spirit, I feel like honestly a lot of this mess, what I want to call it a mess, will actually like sort it out for you, because it feels so funny. It almost feels like some type of like comedy or something like that. And again, like over here with the chariot energy of like your high horse, the high horse feels like it's built out of some form of inadequacy. What you're doing is to make peace with, what you're doing is with making peace with your power. So this is not coming as, oh, I have to display my power or something like that. Everybody has to hear me roar or whatever. This is more of finding peace with the beauty of your own self and thinking highly of yourself, and rightfully so, and not out of some weird twisted form of inadequacy. But again, I honestly feel like the beauty of this situation is that there's a mistake you've already made, or that is in the works, that is going to be happening, that's actually going to lead you to a higher sense of self, a higher sense of stability. Just like everything just feels very right. It's very beautiful. But literally, if you feel any fear around this, literally just for anything, communicate with spirit. Literally, we pulled these cards like what can help alleviate some of this, and you have communicate with spirit. And I think that's one of the most beautiful cards out of this deck that you could have gotten. So again, just reinforcing that energy. Communicate with spirit on any of your worries, and just know that spirit is 10 steps ahead of you, on each side of you, and behind you. Spirit has it all covered. And it's really important for you, specifically group 3, to know how protected you are, because you are being led to experience this Lord of Pleasure. You are being led to that. That is what's actively happening. I can assure you. I bet money on it. So this is a really beautiful energy. I really love it. For some reason, it feels like a comedy. Like I'm just watching a comedy movie, which is a movie full of mistakes, but they're funny, and we get to the end and it's all right. So this is exactly is what's happening, you know, where you're just watching this movie and you're just like, why are they doing this crazy dumb stuff? But then in the movie, whatever happens, and it's all beautiful, and the movie goes off. So this is that type of energy. It's really funny. It's really cute. So I'm really enjoying this. Ooh, so that is all I have for you today, group 3. I really hope it resonated. If it did not, that is okay. Take what did and the rest will fall away. You are not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. All right. So I really hope you enjoyed the energy and the vibe, and I will see you next time, friend. Bye-bye. Group 4, welcome to your reading today. For all of our friends who chose this really cool quartz rock, this will be your message about your blessing in disguise. So, oracle cards aside, we'll pull your tarot deck out, and what we're going to do is channel the message from the 5 of Cups first and see what we're getting. So, let's see what we got. So immediately the message that I got was life is actually so fitting. Life is already currently so fitting for you, as in you're learning everything that you need to be learning. You're surmounting everything that you're supposed to be surmounting. You're confronting. You're working through fears. You're doing everything that you need to be doing, and it still feels like there's just no headway. Um, and it comes from a tendency you have to try, like, you have a tendency to try and like fit into boxes that don't serve you. So you try to go in that box and you're like, oh, this doesn't fit. Then you move to that box, you're like, oh, that doesn't fit. You do a lot of moving to try and see where you fit. But what you're coming to realize is that what life has been doing has been uncovering the real you. So any ways in which you felt some form of unfitness or some type of rejection or some type of like burden, or like, why do I always go into spaces and destroy them, or why do I always go into spaces and it seems like I'm still the outcast, or for some reason I just don't fit. What they're saying is the frequency that you hold is already fitting for you, and what life has been doing has been deconstructing or uncovering what that frequency truly is for you, which has been really sad, because it feels very lonely. It just feels very extremely lonely. Like, I kind of want to cry for this reading, and this is the first reading where I feel like I actually want to cry, like actual tears, because it feels very lonely, like you're outcasted, like you don't have anyone to turn to. It just feels like you're very alone. And even if you have people around you feel like you can turn to, you still kind of feel alone, like you're still fighting this internal war on this journey on the inside that it just feels so sad. And you just don't know why, but really the reason why is because the frequency and the blueprint actually that you're holding, you're introducing new ideas to the world. You're introducing a new frequency to the world, and the world is just at a certain level of expansiveness that you were born with. You were born with this expansiveness. Now, again, this is not about you being like, I'm better than them because I'm more expanded, I was born more, whatever. This is more about you understanding that the frequency you hold is here to permeate and affect all of consciousness, even if that is just unconsciously. So it just to relieve some pressure, because I feel like this is something you'll be doing consciously and actively. But just to relieve some of the pressure, it's something that is happening already unconsciously, even without your own knowing. And you probably already do know. I saw this quote the other day on a picture, and it said something like, the reason why you don't fit into this world is because you were born to build a new one. And that's exactly how I feel about anyone who showed up to this reading. You hold the frequency of building a new world, as in, i.e., introducing humanity to a new frequency. And there are actually people like people on the same frequency as you. There are people who are aligning with that same frequency, and what you're going to see is actually what Spirit is doing is getting you to come together to create some form of a connection or some form of a community, because it just seems like they will be better support for you than any of the people that you're trying to force yourself to have relation with or be in relation to. It's just taking a lot of clearing and cleansing and understanding and trust and love of self, because there's a frequency that you and these other people are holding together, and that you're sharing together, and that you're offering to the world together. And again, this is just one of those things where it's just like, your soul knew what you were doing. Maybe your human doesn't, but your soul knew the blueprint that it came into this world to introduce. It's just like not having that remembrance basically made you human. And in order for you to actually integrate any of what you're learning as wisdom, you have to actually go through this as a human being, not as some spiritually evolved being that just graces the earth and just floats and touches people and they're all healed. What you wanted to do is go through this as a human being, because the understanding is if you go through it as a human being, that means it's possible by all beings. It's the understanding that anything that is possible through one human being is possible through the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. So that's the healing that you're doing, and that's the work that you're doing. It's about you holding a new frequency for all of humanity, which is really scary, which means you feel very outcast and you feel very separated. You know, you're really confronting separation consciousness in a huge way, which is scary, which is a lot. You know, it's a lot. So that's what you're doing. You know, that's what you're doing. And I also feel like, too, the more you work with separation consciousness, the more you'll get comfortable with who you are, where you are, and the things, the desires that you have. You'll get more comfortable with owning them, and you'll get comfortable with stepping into them fully. I feel like that's what Spirit is helping you prepare to do, is stepping fully into your desires, stepping fully into the people you want to connect to, stepping fully into your boundaries, stepping fully into the way in which you want to show up in the world and be of service. I feel like that is what you're uncovering right now, and that's just kind of the process that you're undergoing. But unfortunately, the pain of this process is putting yourself into boxes. So putting yourself into all these different fads and friend groups and trends and trying it on. And you're like, oh, this doesn't fit. So you take it off and you try on something else. And you're like, oh, I don't like this either. So it's almost like a chameleon energy, which is funny because that is the card that we got. And right under that is Nightingale with Love is All Around. So that is the animal spirit card that we got for the collective reading, which makes sense when we talk about someone who is here to have effect on the consciousness of humanity or have some form of an impact. So it makes total sense to me that you would feel this way or think this way, or be kind of like shape-shifting, really, you know, changing into one outfit to the next, you know, or going from one trend, or trying to just find your way, what fits for you. But the more you try it on, the more you find yourself, which is really interesting. But it just feels like a very lonely road because it feels like things aren't sticking. Like it feels like, you know, people and places and things in your life are extremely seasonal, and everything is just transforming all the time. Everything is changing. Like it feels like you lack stability. But the blessing is in disguise is once you uncover your true self, you actually in this lifetime will exist as the fullest best version of yourself that you can offer humanity. And that's huge. And that you living in that wholeness, you're here to make an impact with that. Does that make sense? I hope it makes sense, because I still want to cry for this reading, because I just feel like it just feels like so much pain and so much suffering and so much loneliness. Like I just feel like I want to hug you, because it's like all you want are friends, all you want are real connections, all you want, you know, is an actual healthy relationship. You just want all the really really simple things in life, even if they're complex, you know, even if they may seem complex, you know. And you just want stability. You want to live a happy life. You want, you know, your house. You want a pet. You know, you just kind of just want to feel some form of stability. You're tired of feeling this deep sense of rejection. But what Spirit is reflecting back to you is the places in which you reject your own true self. So that's why through the process of this chameleon energy that you have of trying something on and it not fitting, is knowing that, hey, this doesn't work for me. You know, so why am I rejecting this part of me that I'm trying to cover up with this? So what you're doing is finding all these little aspects of you that you've covered up, and trying something on them. And you're like, I don't like that. And then you're awakened to what truly actually lives there when you take whatever kind of sort of fit off, which is a really beautiful thing. And again, I just feel like you're here to help like humanity with that knowing. It's like a really huge thing that you're doing. A really huge thing that you're doing. Spirit keeps saying it's a really huge thing that you're doing. It's a really huge thing that you're doing. Yeah. Look at that. 10 of Wands flew out. You know, I honestly feel like you are at the end of your toiling, because I feel like you're every day I feel like you raise in vibrational status. Like I feel like every single day like it's a new awakening. It just feels like every single day there's a changing. Every single day there's something shifting, and it's exhausting. But it's happening, and it's happening for a reason. You know, it's the beauty of this is your existential like curiosity. The beauty in this is like the energy and the frequency that you're holding. Look at that. Look what shot out. We have the world. And the reason why we have the world in reverse is because you're still in the process of awakening truly. And I feel like when you fully accept yourself, that's when you'll like really like, when you fully accept yourself, even the stuff that feels like you're, of course you have the star just flipping out here. What do you want to do, star? Upright. Okay. So the star wants to be upright. Makes total sense why the star will fall out, or the stars, and it makes sense why this card is called the stars and not just the star in this deck. It makes total sense. And then bottom deck you have Three of Wands energy in reverse, and I honestly can say that like really happiness is on the horizon and you feel it. You just don't see it yet. But really this is all happening for the betterment of you, so that you can get to your root. I feel like that is what that Three of Wands energy is. So what I'm feeling from the Three of Wands energy is you've been feeling the Three of Wands energy for a very long time. So like you've been feeling like this good juicy life has been right around the corner for a long time, and it's really disappointing when you go every single day and it's not there, and it's not there, and it's not there. But again, what you have been doing has been outfit fitting. You've been shape-shifting. You've been going through this chameleon energy of trying on something and it's not working. But still, that Three of Wands energy has lingered almost like a crumb, almost like a cookie trail leading you to, the chocolate factory is what is happening. So really what you're coming into the understanding of is truly the chocolate factory has been you all along. And you kind of like laid this like cookie trail, for your own, like the way it's showing up in my visioning is like someone eating the cookie and then like dropping crumbs, but then turning around and being like, ooh, a crumb, and ooh, a crumb, and ooh, a crumb, and like picking up the crumbs, and then they return to their final position, the position, their starting positioning, and it's like a spiral. I'm seeing it as a spiral, and I don't want you to think negative of that, because what is happening is you're returning to your natural self, who you are naturally as a human being, the things that you enjoy, the things that you like, that aren't shrouded in trying to fit into some type of subculture, or try to fit in with some group of people, or trying to be right or cool, or really seeking outside validation that like as a detriment to your own validity, natural validity. So what you're doing is returning to your own natural true self. And it's just this Three of Wands energy has been so incredibly frustrating, because you felt this beautiful energy, this beautiful awakening, this beautiful abundance consciousness and energy coming your way this entire time. And you're just like, but where is it? I can't find it. Where is it? I can't find it. Or every time I do this thing, it's disappointing because it's not there. I did this and I was disappointed. And what you're actually doing is moving into your highest positioning of knowing yourself truly, as the person you want to be, the way that you want to show up in the world, what's fitting, what's actually naturally aligned to who you are, which is something that you're grounding and offering to all of humanity. What you're doing is actually taking all the bells and whistles off and saying, this is who I am naturally, this is what I have, this is what I offer. And it's a beautiful frequency that you're holding, because you have like a soul family that holds like the exact same frequency, and you're going to connect with them on a deep, very healing, very purging level that is healing for everyone involved. And I just feel like you have a lot to offer your soul family, and they have a lot to offer you. And that's why it's the stars here, because I just feel like it's a whole like family of people, and then like it's just going to spread, like they're going to take what they're learning from you back to to your ecosystems, what you do in your everyday world, and it just feels like it's going to spread. I feel some type of spreading, and I feel like that's why the world is here. And again, like we talked about earlier, you know, what you're holding and what they're holding, what we're all holding really as humanity, is here to help, you know, move through all this really thick energy that we have. But what you're doing, what you're holding, is going to help the all of humanity, and that's why this has taken its time. That's why it has taken you through the ringer, because you're a leader. Really, you're a leader. You're like a torch holder. You've gone, like, you're just an elder. You know, you're seen, like, not saying you are physically or like age wise, but like soul wise, your soul is extremely antiquated. Like, your soul looks like this, the star in this card. Um, your soul is just really old and has been through a lot. It's like really antiquated. Your soul is like really antiquated. Like, it has, like, souls can incarnate wherever they want in the universe. It doesn't even have to be Earth. It can be literally anywhere. Your soul has chosen so many Earth lifetimes. It's kind of ridiculous. And you went through a lot of the horror and tragedy of, like, I just feel like you were there for the birth of the Earth, and you're just going to be there for the end of it. It's just like what your soul is doing. It's part of your soul's awakening. It's just what it likes to do. It's just, your soul is very attached to Earth. Like, it sees Earth as like as its mother, or like it's your, like, you, like, your soul sees Earth as a friend that it wants help, that it wants to be in service to. Um, so it's just been, your soul has been reincarnating over and over again on Earth, going through some of the most horrific timelines just to, like, help with Earth's clearing. And I think that's what you really need to understand. Um, like, I just feel like the world is, like, cracking open to you and, like, repaying you for your services. But just what sucks about it is, with the blessing in disguise, is what you've been doing has been returning to your natural self. But unfortunately, that has come through rejection, that has come through ridicule, that has come through loneliness, that has come through being alone and isolated, that has come through, you know, trying to fit in these places and that places and never really getting it. And what you're doing finally is getting that the place where you feel fit in the most is you. So now you can take that knowing and live from within and attract without. You know what I'm saying? You can live from within and attract without. You know, so everything that you're producing inside of you, you know, you can bring into your life as you operate from abundance consciousness, which has what you've been doing. It has been what you've been doing, because what you're seeing is, with this rejection, you're like, oh, I actually don't need this. You're actually seeing that you are enough, which is, you are enough is the basis. That is the foundation of abundance consciousness. The foundation of abundance consciousness is not, I'm rich, I'm wealthy, I have all the money, you know, and stuff like that. That's just a byproduct. The basis of abundance consciousness is, I'm enough, I'm significant, I have a purpose in this life, I'm worthy, I am capable, I'm loved. You know, that's what the basis of abundance consciousness is, and that's what you've been finding through all of these really, really difficult situations that you've been going through. So that's really your blessing in disguise. It's like finding your real self and being able to operate from that place in this lifetime, and actually having the world just kind of crack open to you like an oyster. So it's a really beautiful energy, really. I feel like right now, it will be in your best interest to kind of just chill out and do nothing. Just kind of, you don't have to force any of this energy. It's all just kind of like coming into you. It's like a magnetic attraction. So really, the best thing you could do really is just kind of chill out and allow the world to kind of crack open to you, and allow things to just happen. Go with the flow of things. And just watch the world serve you. You know, watch the miracles, watch it unfold, watch the world serve you, because you've done some mighty service for this world, in a very large way, in a lot of lifetimes. So yeah, a really beautiful energy. I know that's kind of like weird and ethereal, and it all depends on how you receive this. But again, your blessing in disguise is, the world is cracking open to you because of all the the work you've done, the work that you've been doing. You know, you've been chasing this end goal of everything coming into place, but really what you've been doing is leading yourself back to abundance consciousness so that you can embody that not only for yourself but the whole of humanity, which is a really beautiful thing. So let's get into your oracle cards. So animal spirits, just for further confirmation, we have believe in yourself, of course, with squirrel spirit. Of course, yep, that's it. That is it. The basis of abundance consciousness. And we also have open to infinite possibility with starfish spirit. Exactly, it makes total sense to me while you have those two cards as confirmation. That's why I said sit back, relax, and watch the world open up to you, because you literally believe in it, and believe in yourself, and believe in what you're hearing and what you're receiving, because you are receiving. And it's important for you to kind of take a step back and show yourself some respect for the work that you've been doing, because a lot of times we try to pride the hard work, the physical linear work, the human stuff, but we don't actually take a step back and look at how hard it is to do emotional work, mental clearing and work, spiritual work and stuff like that. And that's a lot of what you've been doing, on top of still existing as a human being and still having to do human work, working hard. You've been working extremely hard, and Spirit knows that. Spirit sees you, and Spirit is congratulating you, and the world is cracking up to you so that you can finally sit with and marinate in that reward. I honestly feel like these three cards are in reverse only because Spirit wants you to take a step back and actually allow the world to crack open to you, besides you going out there and forcing the world to crack open, which is what you've been doing, which has been very helpful to you. So your Dawnbringer intuitive message is Queen of Cups. I need to say my body is designed to experience pleasure, deep pleasure, connection, and healing make me happy. Exactly. This is you understanding that. I want to read that again. My body is designed to experience pleasure. Deep pleasure, connection, and healing make me happy. They contribute to your happiness. So it's time for you to sit back and relax and allow the world and the deep pleasures that exist to contribute to your happiness. It's a beautiful energy that you're holding. And then we also have Whispers of the Ocean, which I pulled this card with the understanding of what can we do, not what we can do, but what can we look out for as this energy unfolds. So we have of course. So we have replacing what was lost. You now have the opportunity to rejuvenate and start anew. Create with a new perspective or outlook. This card may also indicate abundance is on the horizon. How perfect is that, group 4? How perfect is that? That's what I keep saying. Like literally that whole time you kept feeling like abundance is on the horizon. I feel it. I know it. I know it's there. And it has been this entire time, and it's been within you, and Spirit has been trying to lead you back to that understanding and that knowing. And now with you doing all the work that you know you've been doing, now you can take a step back, respect yourself, and allow this to happen for you, allow this to actually open up for you. Spirit is looking out for you. And then we have, and I love how this is 12, and it's 3, and we have a 3 of Wands, so it's just like... And then our last card with Cosmic Dancers. This is the energy that you can do, or the energy that you can focus on that'll help move this energy throughout your body. This knowing that you're sitting with. So you have play. Of course, that's why I keep saying. Listen, you have 3, 6, and that makes 9. You are complete. You're done. This part of your life is done. This part of this this particular chapter is done. I love how you have play. Spirit does not want you to go out there and try to force and try to fight and try to crack the world open. You've done that. You've mastered that. What Spirit wants you to do, group 4, is to receive. And for some reason, this helicopter, which I haven't heard a helicopter here in forever. For some reason, this helicopter is giving me the energy of Spirit is looking over you. Spirit is looking out for you. Spirit has everything you need. You don't have to worry about it. You're protected. You are safe. You don't have to worry. It's just your time. the world to just crack open to you. You don't have to do anything that you don't want to do. You don't have to do anything in order for this to manifest. You don't have to do anything. You literally could just breathe and exist and just do whatever, and this is still going to happen for you. It doesn't matter. You don't have to do anything, and there's nothing that's going to get in the way of it either. Your way of thinking is not going to get in the way of it. There's just nothing that can compromise this, because you've already done the work. You've already done the energetic work. You've done the spiritual work. You've done the mental work, and everything else now is just for a deep sense of resonance and healing. Yeah. Everything now is really just coming into your life to solidify that deep sense of love and healing, and connection. And look, I was talking about your star family or your soul family. This is them. This is you connecting. So I love how the best thing that you can do for yourself is playing, joy. Kick back, relax, and enjoy yourself is what the best thing you can do to usher in this energy. Open up to infinite possibilities, because Spirit is coming in to replace all that has been lost. Abundance is on the horizon. Why? Because you've gone through all the work and all the uncovering to uncover abundance consciousness that is within you. And the baseline for abundance consciousness, again, I'll leave you with that, is I am enough. I am enough. I am enough. So, Group 4, really, this was a beautiful reading. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect that at all. That's really cool. So I really, really hope that this reading resonated. I really, truly do. If it did not, that is okay. Take what did, and the rest will fall away. You're not obligated to hold on to anything that is not yours. So, I really hope you enjoy the energy and the vibe of this reading, and I really hope to see you next time, Group 4. Bye-bye.